For Pacifica Radio, I'm Scott Baba. The United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees, or UNRWA, said over the weekend that it is halting aid deliveries through the main cargo crossing into the war-ravaged Gaza Strip because of the threat of armed gangs who have looted convoys. It blamed the breakdown of law and order in large part on Israeli policies. The UN agency's decision could worsen Gaza's humanitarian crisis as a second cold, rainy winter sets in, with hundreds of thousands of Palestinians in squalid tent camps and reliant on international aid. Experts already warned of famine in the north, which Israeli forces have almost completely isolated since early October. Philippe Lazzarini, the head of UNRWA, which is the main aid provider in Gaza, said the route leading to the Karim Shalom crossing is too dangerous on the Gaza side. Our men looted nearly 100 trucks on the route in mid-November. In an ex-post, Lazzarini largely blamed Israel for the breakdown of humanitarian operations in Gaza, citing political decisions to restrict the amount of aid, lack of safety on routes, and Israel's targeting of the Hamas-run police force, which previously provided public security. Iranian-backed Iraqi militias have deployed in Syria to back the government's counteroffensive against a surprise advance by insurgents who seized the largest city of Aleppo. That's according to a militia official and a Syrian war monitor. Insurgents led by jihadi group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham launched a two-pronged attack on Aleppo last week and moved into the countryside around Idlib and neighboring Hama province. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, in a phone call with Assad today, said Tehran was willing to provide all the support needed to push back the insurgency. Iran's top diplomat Abbas Araghchi visited Assad yesterday before traveling to Ankara, Turkey, one of the rebels' main backers. Negotiators working on a treaty to address the global crisis of plastic pollution for a week in South Korea failed to reach an agreement and plan to resume the talks next year. Countries that thought the treaty should reduce the total plastic on Earth and put global legally binding controls on the plastic industry found themselves at an impasse with oil-rich nations that argued the treaty should be limited to reducing plastic waste without putting a cap on plastic production. The negotiations in Busan, South Korea were supposed to be the fifth and final round to produce the first legally binding treaty on plastic pollution, including in the oceans, by the end of 2024. But with time running out early today, negotiators agreed to resume the talks next year. They don't yet have firm plans. Juan Carlos Monterrey Gomez of the Panama delegation, which introduced a global proposal to cut down plastic production, called the conclusion of the summit a, quote, moral failure.
Plastics are not convenience. Plastics are poison. Every piece that we allow to produce without limits is a direct assault on our health, on our nature, and our children. For those blocking progress, you are allowing this crisis to fester, and it will kill us. This is just not a treaty about plastics. This is humanity's line on the sand.
Every year, the world produces more than 400 million tons of new plastic. Plastic production could climb about 70% by 2040 without policy changes. President Joe Biden has pardoned his son Hunter. That spares the younger Biden a possible prison sentence for federal felony gun and tax convictions and reverses the president's past promises not to use the extraordinary powers of the presidency for the benefit of his family. The Democratic president had previously said he would not pardon his son or commute his sentence after his convictions in Delaware and California. The move comes weeks before Hunter Biden was set to receive his punishment after his trial conviction in the gun case and guilty plea on tax charges, and less than 2 months before President-elect Donald Trump is set to return to the White House. The Great Lakes region is seeing new snow and faces the prospect of even more this week after U.S. travelers battled harsh weather to get home after Thanksgiving. Snow showers fell in western Michigan early Monday. Heavier, persistent snow of up to a foot is expected to follow. More snow, gusty winds, and freezing temperatures are forecast on Wednesday and Thursday. Lake effect snow warnings are in effect through Tuesday night in parts of Ohio, New York, and Pennsylvania. That's on top of nearly 4 feet of lake effect snow that fell over the weekend on upstate New York and parts of Pennsylvania and Michigan. I'm Scott Baba for Pacifica Radio.